Hello, my name is Greg Crawford. I'm Dean of the Faculty of Science here at Ontario Tech University. Thanks for tuning in. These are extraordinary times, and obviously we're doing things quite a bit differently than we normally would do without the presence of the COVID-19 pandemic. But I'm still very pleased to be able to have this opportunity to tell you about some of the amazing programs that we have in the Faculty of Science and provide my perspective on some of the reasons why you might choose to come to our university in one of our science programs. I've been at the university for about 6 years, and I came to Ontario Tech because I really liked what was different about it. It's mostly STEM programs: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's really geared towards programs that have career focus, providing training for students to be able to successfully get jobs as well as go into graduate studies. And it really is an institution that's focused on students. And I'll talk more about that a little bit later. But I'm happy to kind of run through some of the really interesting programs and opportunities that we have at the university. I'm going to switch over to a PowerPoint presentation now, and I'll kind of walk through that. So give me just a moment while this loads up. It should pop open here in a sec. Here we go. Great. So as I say, I'm Greg Crawford, Dean of the Faculty of Science, and I wanted to walk through some of the reasons why you might think about studying sciences at Ontario Tech. I'll note that in our faculty, we have traditional sciences like biology, chemistry, physics, math, and then we also have computer science and forensic science, on the undergraduate side. Some of the things about the university that makes us particularly interesting and valuable for an educational experience include things like the small class sizes that we have. And by the way, I've got some slides that I'm going to show you. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these because this is a video. You can pause and read the details yourself. So I won't, this is going to be a little shorter in terms of me reading everything. But one of the things about having small class sizes is you actually get to know your professors, and that's really a valuable opportunity. So by the time you get to third and fourth year, you've got smaller class sizes with labs. You get to know your professors; they get to know you. One thing that I tell students to think about, it's probably early for you to be thinking about this, but when it comes to graduating and trying to get that first job or trying to get into grad school, if you think about the kind of people you want to get references from, if your professors actually know who you are, they can write a good reference for you, as opposed to if you're in a big classes, and you ask for a letter of reference from a professor, and all they can do is say, well, you were in the back of the class of a 300, I can tell what your grade was. That's not as valuable. So I think not only is the hands-on opportunity, the chance to have some role models that are kind of much more in your life as our professors can be, but also they will get to know you as well as you will get to know them, and they'll help you figure out where you want to go, and they may be potentially really good references for you. We also have, we hire people that really want to be working with students. So yes, we are a research-focused university. We have a lot of excellent researchers, and we provide a lot of experiences for students to be exposed to and participate in research opportunities. But we hire people here, both faculty and staff, because they actually want to teach. So I think that actually shows in the kind of experiences that our students get to have here. Not only that, but each faculty has its own academic advisors. So when it comes to helping students plan for the future, plan as they go from year to year, progressing through their degree, these advisors are there to help. They know the programs, they know the options, they can talk about electives, they can talk about minors and other opportunities for you. And I think that provides a really valuable resource for our students. There's also a lot of additional learning environments here with our student learning centers, student engagement, student accessibility services, mental health supports, campus career center. There's a lot of additional resources that can help you, because when it comes to doing an undergraduate degree, there's a lot more to it than just taking your courses. And again, I'll speak about that momentarily. In terms of the actual academic experience, pretty much every program that you're working in the sciences will involve some kind of software. And we use both a combination of very good educational software that will help you with learning, but also a lot of software that the real world uses, industry uses, governments uses, nonprofits use. So there's opportunities to actually work with the kind of software that you'll be working with when you actually get out into the working world. We provide that kind of opportunity here. And we also have technologies that are specific to the disciplines that you're studying. We have a number of really powerful research instruments if you're working in wet labs like chemistry and biology and physics. We have high-powered computing resources both on campus and across the country that we can tap into for large research projects as well. So there's really great opportunities here. As I mentioned earlier, it's kind of in our DNA at Ontario Tech. It's built into the university's acts, the government acts that created the universities, that we were going to be a university that was different. We were going to focus on developing career-ready programs, things that can actually help students get what they need to be employable, and to help employers so that they are seeing our graduates come out with a set of both the hard technical skills and soft skills. So I think it's a really great opportunity at this university. We have a lot of powerful researchers, as I mentioned as well. And then we have a number of different flavors or add-ons that you can participate in at the university that I think are really important and valuable to think about. Obviously, in early days, you're just even thinking about a university. You're not thinking about these things necessarily, but we have cooperative education in 5 of our 6 undergraduate programs. The 6th one I'll talk about already has some experiential learning. You can also add a management component to your degree. You can participate in undergraduate research opportunities in a number of levels. And then we find in the sciences that there are a certain number of students that actually have a vocation for teaching. They want to share that excitement about science. And so we work with the education faculty to help students to be able to transfer over into a Bachelor of Education through a couple of different programs. So it's a well-integrated university experience as well. I'll talk about the individual programs in a moment, at least in passing, but a co-op education, I want to talk about that for a few minutes. I'm a product of co-op education. I went through a bachelor's degree out at the University of Victoria, where I grew up, and it really was incredibly important in terms of me figuring out what I wanted to do. And it actually turned out that happened because I tried a bunch of co-op jobs, and it helped me figure out what I didn't want to do. So the light bulb didn't go on for me until late into my undergraduate degree. All of our programs, except forensic science, has co-op option, and this is paid internships, if you will, at different companies, spanning a wide range of industries and government. And this is an opportunity for students to sort of see if that's the particular aspect of the program that they're interested in. In my case, I did physics. I started off and I had a co-op opportunity in Calgary working for an oil company. It was wonderful, but I didn't want to do it for a living. I realized that having tried it. I got paid, was good stuff for my resume, and so it made me more employable, and it helped me figure out what I didn't want to do. Likewise, I worked at a nuclear research establishment for a 4-month work term, realized I didn't want to do that, got paid, great for my resume, and helped me figure out what I wanted to do because I didn't want to do that. I'll just say for my own part, I stumbled into oceanography, and I'm an oceanographer by training and a researcher. And I would never have come across that, as even in my wildest dreams. That was never on my radar, except I had a co-op opportunity. I had some experiences, and I sort of went, wow, this is for me. I never would have found this if I hadn't really had this particular experience in co-op. So as you can tell, I'm a strong co-op supporter. I think it's a wonderful opportunity and to enhance your degree. A university degree, yes, you could just stay and take your courses and get your degree. That's great, but so is everybody else. And so one of the things to be mindful of as you go forward is how can you enhance your university experience so that you will become more hireable, that you will have more qualifications, you'll be more interesting to employers than somebody who's just, all they're doing is just taking the courses that are laid out in front of them. So co-op is one of those opportunities to take more control in your hands of your own destiny and showing that you're a motivated individual. As this slide shows, also employers like this too, because they get to test drive you. You get to test drive them. Why do employers want to hire co-op students? They're looking for good talent. And so they're hopeful that some of the students that they hire might end up looking so good to them that they want to keep them on long term. So there's a value to the employers and there's a real value to the students in co-op. And maybe that's enough for that right now, but I think it's a highly desirable option to consider. I mentioned that you could also get some management training in our programs. It takes an extra year if you go this particular route, but your, let's say, a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry becomes a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry and Management. And you don't have to make a decision early on. Basically, this is an add-on right at the end of the program. So you would declare that you want to add this extra year in your fourth year, and then you would take a fifth year of basically business courses. And they're really valuable if that's the direction that you're hoping to go. We know that industry is really interested in hiring young people who have who both understand the technical skills, have the knowledge and experience in a science program, but also having some appreciation of what it's actually like to work in business and in industry to help be a little bit more well-rounded. So that's another option to think about. Nothing you have to decide on now, but it's out there and you can make that decision later on. I'm not going to spend much time on this, but we have a wide variety of opportunities for undergraduate research opportunities, ranging from various research assistantship positions and research awards to some courses that provide specifically research exposure to research opportunities and getting more lab experience. You can also take a fourth year full year thesis. It's like a mini master's thesis, and it's an excellent opportunity to really try out research if that's something that's of interest to you. And I know both observing what's going on at this university as well as my own experience at a previous university, where I've worked with students who've been able to participate as an undergraduate student and actually get their name on a research paper or a conference paper, which is quite a remarkable opportunity to have out of an undergraduate degree. Just a few comments. We do very well in terms of seeing our students when they graduate be able to be employed in an area related to the degree that they got. This one also mentions that our forensic science program in particular is just one of two accredited programs within Canada, very well known within the province and within the nation. Spend a few minutes on the different programs that we have without spending a lot of time on this. Again, I know you can actually read this information. Applied and Industrial Mathematics, it's our spin on a mathematics degree. We cover the basics of a mathematics degree, but we also provide practical hands-on experiences to be successful both in a research environment and sort of an applied environment. So, for example, we will tackle problems related to maybe some industrial challenge, trying to be able to figure out how to what conditions to create a particular, let's say, crystal out of particular chemical constituents that needs to form a particular environment. And so you might be bringing in some physics and some chemistry, but you're doing this within a mathematical context. We also find that a lot of our math students end up in some aspect of the financial sector, banking, insurance, those sorts of things, and then in government as well. And so we provide the background and training to be successful as well in those areas. And then we know that a certain number of our students also want to take this minor in finance. So you can take the math degree, the major, and then you can also integrate with that a finance minor that can also help if that's a particular direction that you want to go in. Biological sciences, we have a comprehensive program in biology, and then we also have some specializations like environmental biology, life sciences. Life sciences, by the way, is the traditional pathway into medicine. And I can tell you that we know in talking to our graduates that our students are very well prepared for the MCAT and for getting into medical schools. So it's great background training if that's a direction that you want to go in. We have a pharmaceutical biotechnology and environmental toxicology options as well, a bit more specialized, a lot more specific kind of laboratory experience with a wide range of career opportunities, as you can see here, typically in environment, in various professional programs. And again, we find a lot of people just are interested in educational aspects of teaching and such. On the chemistry side, again, you can get a general chemistry degree, a broad-based chemistry degree. We also have specializations in both chemical biology. That's what used to be called biochemistry, but these days it's called chemical biology. It's the same thing, basically. And also pharmaceutical chemistry. Those two are quite popular programs in chemistry. There's some interesting balancing between sort of the biology piece and the chemistry piece, in that both in chemical biology and pharmaceutical chemistry, and there may be, we're worried about the molecules and what certain molecules do, but we're also often interested in consequences for biology, typically humans, not exclusively, because so we need to have a bit of a balance between those two fields. We have a very strong computer science program. It's quite attractive. It's got a little bit higher admissions requirements with specializations, if you so choose, in either digital media or data science. We're finding a lot of students are gravitating toward that program and have a wide range of career options. I'll say my son actually graduated from this particular program, and he's fully employed right out of school. Systems analysis, machine learning, data science, these are all hot topics these days. A lot of work on apps, that's mobile development. And then these days there's a lot of work going on the consulting side for computer scientist types. So that's a very strong program. Forensic science, I mentioned, it's an accredited program with specializations. So if you're interested in working in forensic sciences, you can get either a biology, chemistry, or physics specialization. What's interesting about forensic science is that as an applied science, there's still a lot of work to do on the research side, and that's because a lot of this is very pragmatic, very practical kinds of things. So how can we look at a crime scene, and how can we understand what a blood splatter might tell us in terms of what actually happened? How do you kind of backtrack in time and in space to try to understand try to sort out exactly what had happened? And there's gunshots as well, understanding holes in walls and things, and trying to understand the nature of being able to determine what gun and under what particular circumstances. There's a lot of work that's going on these days on customs and immigration. So having the kind of background in forensic science can be really valuable for working for the federal government in some of those fields, and insurance and fraud investigation as well. You can also get into crime officer training from here. It does require additional training, but we also have our crime scene house, which is I think one of the first in Canada, which provides a lot of really valuable practical hands-on training. I got a brand new program coming up, integrative neuroscience, that's just starting, I believe, this next fall. And this is really a jump-off point for people that are interested in typically research, but there will be some opportunities coming up in terms of technology opportunities. But our program is a bit different because it's a blend of social sciences, mostly on the psychology side, health sciences, more on the mind, brain, kinesiology side of things, and then on the actual biological sciences side. So we call it an integrative program, and it's another jumping off point for people that are interested in getting into health and medicine areas as well. And then a lot of new opportunities that will be burgeoning for medical and research and biotech research. Our physics program, we have a general physics degree and then a couple of specializations you can choose from. Astrophysics is actually very popular. A lot of people are really interested in working in astrophysics. And nanotech and clean energy is another burgeoning field with global warming and such. Trying to find clean energy solutions is really critical. We have some real experts that are still working in solar panels, as well as other evolving technologies here. and so it ties into obviously energy, and then also material science, trying to design new materials to be able to accomplish new goals. And in all of those physics programs, there's a lot of fundamental training on how to work with technology, how to work with computers. So no matter where you end up, you'll have a lot of skills that will be valuable out in the workforce. I mentioned earlier that you should really think about your degree as more than just a bunch of classes and then you're done. It's really important in terms of shaping your own career and get the most out of what you can at university. What's interesting about this is where it kind of ties to the inner geek that most of us find us to be. If you're considering science, there's something about you that really grooves, that really is excited by science on some level. And so we actually really encourage students to do more than just participate in classes and go home and be done. Our students really get involved in a lot of outdoor activities, that is outside of class activities. You can see a few of them listed here. Our students do really well at orientation, and they help support new students coming in. We have a high school science week a couple times a year, where we have undergraduate volunteers who are helping, again, high school students gain some experience about what the university is about, and a whole bunch of other recruitment events. Our students really like what they do here, and they want to be able to share that with the world, both from a recruitment perspective and an outreach perspective. I'll talk about that in a moment as well. Clubs and societies, it's really important when you come to university to not, even though we're all in a self-isolation mode right now, it's really important to be connected to others with similar interests and varied backgrounds. We have a wide range of student-run clubs and societies and councils, some of which are listed here. So there is a social aspect to the university experience that I think is critical, and sharing common interests. You get a lot out of it, others get a lot out of it, and you end up with more than just a bunch of individuals working independently. I mentioned outreach activities. Again, our students are very involved in things like Science Rendezvous, which typically happens in May. Big outreach activity for the community. Our professors and our students all are engaged in bringing in families from the local area and who come in and do various science experiments, and it's very exciting. It's a lot of fun. This year, because of then what's going on, it's canceled. We'll be rescheduling it for next year, but it's a regular thing that students participate in every year, and it's a great opportunity to also add resume material when you say that, yes, not only have I done my classes, but I've also been participating in these outreach activities. It makes you more interesting to employers. You're not just a one-dimensional person. We have a science cafe right now. It runs once a week. It's 3 hours on a Wednesdays, I believe, and it's really an opportunity for students to get together, to get some help from some TAs, some tutors that are there to be able to support you. But it's also a social opportunity as well, to share again and to find opportunities to talk about topics of mutual interest. So I'm almost done here, but I just wanted to kind of summarize what I talked about. Why would you study science at Ontario Tech? We have a lot of really great programs, and those programs are designed to meet the needs of students who are trying to get employed and to move on to grad school, and employers who are looking for talented individuals with good training, good background, good skills, to be able to step into their environments and be successful and productive relatively quickly. As I mentioned, we hire faculty and we hire staff that really care about students. That's a big part of why they're here. It's not just to further your own career in any particular area. We're pretty selective about the people we hire. We hire great instructors, we hire great mentors, we hire great advisors, and our administrative staff and our technical staff are all here to support the experiences that students have. It's really a great team, and that's part of what brought me here. I also mentioned that there's a lot of opportunities both within the classroom, a lot of hands-on experience. We're very hands-on. Hands-on sometimes means working from computers and remotely, but we provide a lot of experiences for students to be able to to sort of test drive careers, test drive research, test drive if they're in the right career path. And then there's so much more that you can do than just your undergraduate degree. We have co-op, we have management opportunities, we have a whole bunch of student activities for you to participate in to enhance both your experience and what you can write on your resume when you're done. So I think that's basically all I had to say. So I'll stop there. I wanted to thank you for listening and for joining me today. I'm looking forward to us having an opportunity where you might even be able to come to campus and see some of the things I've been just talking about. It's a really exciting place to be. It's intimate. You get to know people here, and it's not just one face among many thousands. So I think it's a very individualized kind of experience you can have here, and I think it really can help students with an interest in science to find a very promising start to an excellent career. Thank you very much for your time, and hope to see you on campus. Bye now.